Greetings, fellow musicologists and grunge scholars of the world. This week, just a couple of days ago, Dirt, the sophomore album by Alice in Chains, has celebrated its 30th anniversary, and here are 30 reasons why this album is a masterpiece. This is in no particular order. My number 30 is this sense of urgency and a dark, twisted atmosphere of Dirt, None of the other albums consistently feature that atmosphere, making it one of my favorite albums of all time, actually. Number 29 is Alice in Chains' signature sound. Generally slow, creepy. It's got those riffs that combine 70s hard rock with a doom metal feel. Number 28, the trademark dual vocal harmonies by Layne Staley and Jerry Cantrell. Facelift occasionally touched upon that, but you could still hear the echoes of their glam metal past. Those have been largely exercised here on Dirt. Number 27, the trademark depression, artistic, introspective, the one that drags you to the downward spiral. Alice going to sad land, to somber land, but in a good way, for you to binge and then purge. Number 26, memorable melodies, excellent songwriting. Alice in Chains, they're masters of this balance of stillness, contemplation, but with lots of aggression. Number 25, the album title, Dirt. This is such a great metaphor. So many things that we can picture here. In terms of biblical universes, we can think of a metaphor. For example, let's say Adam coming from clay, from dirt. We can also picture the from dust to dust case, from dirt to dirt. In this case, the album is a telltale into the mortality of man. Many songs, they deal with drug abuse, so this could also be a direction that we could take to explore lyrical meanings. Number 24, bridging the gap between 80s glam metal, the doom metal of the 70s, and the innovative approach of grunge. The slow tempo, the detuning, it became a staple of the early 90s sound. Number 23, the lament, the tragic vibe, the theatrical, kind of like watching a theater play, Let me explain. The voices of both characters. You have Layne and Jerry, so they struggle to express hope for renewal and rehabilitation. Even as so many forces, they threaten to tear their minds apart. They attempt to sing the melodies, but the words produce perverted forms. And then you get songs of suffering, lament, that manage to embody the violence and pain that they address. Number 22, the fear of silence, the death that's taunting through the voice of Layne Staley, but eventually with moments of, bursting a powerful, articulate cry. It weaves into this depressive narrative. Number 21, the prophetic atmosphere, laden with death and the feel of awake, evocating Layne's own fate. Number 20, the iron gland. And what's that, you may ask? Well, there's this untitled tune, and that actually features Tom Araya of Slayer. That's actually my number 20. The fact that this monster beast of a thrash metal icon is there, that's actually great vibes already. And then you have my number 19, which is the iron gland. Let me explain, they probably didn't do it on purpose. It was more like, a metaphor, but it was probably a parody of Iron Man by Black Sabbath. But the idea of a gland is fitting here because glands, they produce various hormones. And the album does feel like it's got some hormonal imbalance, mostly due to drug abuse. So people with high level of dopamine, in the brain, they may be more prone to addictive behavior, to drug abuse. Still, you got to keep going. So you need the gland to be, an iron gland, because the iron is, a symbol of strength, a symbol of perseverance. Number 18 is the poison and medicine aspect of these songs. Alice in Chains' Dirt is a study in hate and darkness. It's an album that's so toxic that it can be fatal if you take it in large doses, But if you listen to it the right way, it's also your medicine. So that's the beauty of darkness, It's a way for you to appreciate light. Number 17, the musicianship. That's supreme, Number 16, the pedal tone and the doomy bass of the original bass player, Mike Starr, the late Mike Starr. Number 15, maybe they weren't quite bonded by blood, but certainly bonded by drugs. And this psychedelic trip is artistic as hell. Beautiful depression that tastes like acid. Number 14, the end result is really overwhelming. And as I've already said, dirt has become very effective at conveying emotion. So the best way to illustrate the sensations that it gives me is to leave a pile of dirt on top of my mind, and I'm stuck to the ground with this kind of like musical dirt that prevents me from rising. That's why I said that it's better for us to usually consume it in smaller doses, which leads me to number 13, which is the song Sick Man. Sick Man is a weird song. Layne sings that he feels like a fly. He's got like 1,000 eyes. You have this image in your head. He also imagines that he's driving a car, but he can't steer the wheel. That's what happens when drugs take over, He has the brain, but he can't really think. So I'm amazed how powerful the lyrics are. Number 12, what about the iambic pentameters to sound fancy, the super Shakespearean lines that gives you this weak and stressed pattern, like ta-da pattern. What the hell am I? Ta-da, 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 you see? What the hell am I? Worn, eroded pride, said 10 miles wide, gonna let it slide. Number 11, Rain When I Die. Well, it's got a sick bass line, killer atmosphere, and the symbology of raining at a funeral. Generally, in literature and mythology, this is seen as a sign that the deceased has entered safely in heaven, Rain brings you life, so that's Layne saying that, well, when he's dead, water will arrive. So it's the existential absurd, when people notice you, that's when life comes to aid, but you'll already be dead. So number 10, the song Down in a Hole. Down in a hole, right? The whole album actually can be seen as this journey towards the downward spiral. It's going to, I know it feels like you're going to go to the grave, to, let's say, sand rain with, earth and mud, and it's going to cover your body. But these words, obviously, they're morbid. The images of flowers, you see like lyrics with, down in a hole, like have flowers, have rain, stones, eating the sun, so the darkness is here. That's a heavy one, but we need that. We need to travel to Hades. We need to go to hell, like vicariously, in order to meet light. Number 9, Damn That River. So many images here. I know that this song is about Jerry and Sean, they were just fighting. It can be related to blood, the river thing here, not being able to stop it at first, or a figurative river of tears, since they argued. There's also, let's say, pissing, because that's mentioned in the lyrics. So lots of possibilities here related to fluids. Either way, it's a great tune about violence, about aggression, which takes me to number 8, which is Rooster, the song about resilience. As the soldier, in this case, Jerry's dad, he gets sent off to war. He leaves a wife and a child behind, but he watches his friend die, and he does his best to stay alive. They come to kill the rooster, but he won't die. The rooster is a symbol of hope. The fact that he ain't going to die, he'll persevere, and he will be with his family again. Number 7, these songs are trying to tell you, dude, this is what happens when you're an addict. These are the side effects. So, let me try to show you the sensation so you stay away. So don't sit in the angry chair. The chair here is a stand-in for people. It's a character to occupy an otherwise empty space. So the chair can symbolize loss of hope or the return to the old self, the clean one. The chair can imply loneliness, or a place to sit down and feel the side effects and intoxication or even abstinence. Number 6, Them Bones. Phenomenal riff, great words, images, powerful tune, existentialist, realistic, great album opener. Number 5, Godsmack. Besides being this inspiration for the name of a new metal band, it's also a song about putting drugs on a shrine, being a disciple of that drug, an apostle. So we are worshiping it, and Layne sounds a lot like Eddie Vedder on this one, in my opinion. Number 5, the fact that the words of the song Dirt are so much like Kurt Cobain's pleas and desperation. If you read the words themselves, it's striking, it's unnerving, actually. And Dirt came out 2 years prior to, the episode with Kurt, the way that he ended his own life. But it gives me the creeps because I think about it and it's just like, wow, prophetic. What about number 4? The fact that Layne Staley wrote 2 songs here on the album, and Hate to Feel and Angry Chair. Number 3, the very first vocal sounds heard on Dirt are the series of like, dun, 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 right? The scream that begins with them bones. That was the original creative idea of Layne Staley, and it became the staple, iconic opening. Number 2, the song Wood. Jerry Cantrell wrote it. It's about the lead singer of Mother Love Bone, Andrew Wood, a very influential figure in the Seattle music scene. Wood died of a heroin overdose in 1990. This song also criticizes people who are judgmental about the choices of others. The narrator asks us, hey, please see things from my perspective. Please forgive me. It's a phenomenal tale and a great way to close the album, which is my number 1, the whole album, the amazing journey that is meant to be healing, to be like a vicarious journey to hell, like Dante with Virgil going to the circles of hell and being able to tell the tale so others can find inspiration to live a good life, a life by the light, but appreciating every single experience that you have, good or bad. And that does it for today, fellow scholars. As always, music is what music does. Please like and subscribe and hit the bell button if you can. And I'm signing out. Bye now.